So here in IELTS Writing Task 1, it was about business making e-commerce. So here is the question. So as we know that we have to write 150 words, preferably more than that, about 200 words or more, so within 20 minutes. So this is the question. The chart below shows the proportion of businesses making e-commerce purchases by industry in Canada between 2015 and 2019. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Alright, so the key thing here is to summarize the information. We don't actually have to cover each and every single line of point that is shown here in the graph. So there are 5 years. 2015 is this one for manufacturing, 16 is this one for manufacturing, and for construction is the same. For each of these 5 categories we have 5 lines of data, right? So we have 5 bars, so this is a bar chart. So we have 5 bar chart data for each of these 5 categories, so we don't actually have to report all of them. So see what was done by this person. The chart displays proportion of businesses making e-commerce purchases in industry in Canada between the years 2015 to 2019. So this first sentence is a paraphrasing of the question prompt of what the question wanted. So here it says to summarize the information. No, not this one. The chart below shows the proportion of businesses making e-commerce purchases by industry in Canada between this and this. So it's just a paraphrasing. The chart displays instead of the chart shows the proportion. So here the word the is missing, so I'll just write here the proportion of businesses making e-commerce purchases in industry. So it's actually by industry, so it's a mathematical term. When we say that some chart or a graph shows this by this, so it's a specific preposition that we have to use. We cannot just say in or on, so it has to be by, even though it's the same as the question. If you cannot paraphrase it, you just have to write it. It's not a crime if we simply write everything as it is, as in the question, but it's much better to paraphrase it. But writing in instead of by is wrong here, because it's the x-axis and y-axis, you know, by making e-commerce purchases by industry. So it is something, this variable is parallel with this variable, and it is shown in this bar chart. In Canada between the years, so it's written between 2015 and 2019. So here the person wrote between the years, so it's a bit different the way she paraphrased. So afterwards, factors like manufacturing, construction, wholesale, retail, information and communication have had changes over these years, and now these are being considered while making relevant comparisons. Okay, so this is all right, but here notice how she said like, factors like manufacturing, construction, wholesale, retail, and information and communication. So these are the 5 elements that are shown in this graph, right? So we cannot say like, because when we say things such as or things like this, we do not actually list every single element there is. For example, if there are 20 categories, and if we say factors like this, this and this, we say 3 or 4 or 5. In that sense we say like or such as. But when we are mentioning each and every single element, so there are 5 elements here and she mentioned all 5 of them, so we have to actually, we cannot write like, we have to say factors, the factors, manufacturing, you can say like this, the factors, or the categories, you can say categories or factors or elements, you can even say the factors, manufacturing, this, or you can just give a hyphen here. So we know that the factors are these ones, these are the 5 factors. So it's much clearer now when we give a pair of hyphens. Afterwards, in the graph we can see in 2015 manufacturing was about 30%, so here it is about 30%, is a bit above. In 2016 and 18 manufacturing was around 50%, so yes, it's correct. In 2017 it slightly went down by 5%. So yeah, in 2017, this is the 2017 one, green one, so it was about 5% below what it was in 2016 and 18. Alright, so which is about 45%. However, in 2019 it went up to almost 60%. So here again it spiked, right? So the proportion of business making e-commerce purchases in manufacturing, it increased over the years, but just decreased in 1 year, which was 2017, right? Besides 2017, it was a steady increase, you can say. So afterwards, the person wrote, furthermore, construction in 2015 was about 20%, so she went to construction. 2015 about 20%, in 2016 30, 2017 40, 2018 50. Okay, so here what she wrote is that she specified each and every single data point, right? So this is not actually needed. Let me see. So there are some minor errors here. There cannot be a space here. It went around. That is okay. The vocabulary is fine. It almost touched. So see how she uses different types of words, different word choices, right? So this is very important. She says was about. She didn't say exactly 20% because it wasn't exactly 20. It was a little bit above 20, right? So you can say about, around, or a bit above, a little above, or a little below. So things like that. So it's important you do not say actually it was 20%. Shouldn't say that. Okay, so sometimes she said it went around, sometimes she said it was almost near. So this is good word choice. In 2019 it almost went very close to 60%. So here she wrote there's a spelling error. Moreover, the wholesale section started at 40%. So she went, after manufacturing and construction, she went to wholesale. Started at 40% in the 2015. So when we write in the, we shouldn't write a year afterwards, right? So before year we don't normally say the, unless we say something like in the 1990s, in the 2000s, right? So but when we're specifically talking about 1 year, we do not write the. Later on, there should be a comma here. It started rising up to almost 50%. There's an extra space in 2016 and slightly higher in 2017. Let me see. So wholesale 50% in 2016. Yes, it's correct. And slightly higher in 2017. Yes, so you don't always have to specify what percentage it is. You don't have to write that 2016 there was a 50% usage of wholesale, of making e-commerce purchases in wholesale, and then in 2017 it was about 52%. You don't have to say that. You can just say that it increased slightly. So this is what she wrote. In 2018 it remained near around 55%. In 2019 it was finally around 60%. So even though she used a lot of good word choices, vocabulary was fine, but there is some issues about discourse. There is some issues about discourse markers, about transition markers. So you can see that many of these lines start the same way: in 2017, in 2016, in 2019. So one way you can vary your sentences is by saying, like, instead of saying in 2016 it went around 30%, you can say that 2016 saw it going to around 30%, right? So it brings variety. Again, in 2018 it remained. So instead of writing in 2018 at the very beginning, you can just start with it remained near around 55% in 2018, or you can say in the following year, right? In the next year, in the following year, in the year afterwards. You can bring variation like this. So I have another important comment to make, but I'll finish reading this whole passage first. The retail part started at 30% in the year 2015, but then it rose to around 60% in 2016, and it remained almost the same in 2017 as well. So this is a fine sentence, just a minor extra space here, and also there shouldn't be a comma here. In 2018 and 2019, again, she could have just said that in the following 2 years, it almost touched around, or it almost touched 60%, that is all right, because when you say almost, you don't have to say around, because by saying almost you are specifying that it's not exactly 60% but around it, not only around it but a little less, not more. So we can cut this around. Lastly, information and communication was at 60% in 2015. However, by the year 2016, it increased to around 70%. It remained somewhere around 70% in 2017 as well. Nevertheless, so this is good. Nevertheless, this transition marker, it slightly went up to a little over 70% in 2018 and decreased to almost 70% in 2019. I guess she forgot to mention that it decreased in the following year. Okay, so to conclude, the proportion of purchases, there is an extra space here, made by e-commerce industry, it should be industries, plural, industries during these 5 years varied a lot from each other. Nevertheless, the graph shows a clear picture of when and how the numbers increased and decreased during these years. Alright, so the main problem of this writing task, answer, is that she specifically focused on each and every single information point in the graph. So this is not important at all. Yes, you can specifically focus on about 5 or 6 specific years and what the numbers are, but you do not have to touch on every single, like there are 5 into 5, 25 data entries here, so you do not have to specify each and every single one. So another problem that she made is that she did not make a holistic comment. She didn't make a holistic overall assessment of the entire graph. So just to take an overall look, we can see that overall everything is increasing year by year, right? The only exception you can say is manufacturing, because there are a lot of fluctuations. So fluctuations is a good word in these sorts of task 1 answer prompts. You can say fluctuations, and this word fluctuation refers to when something increases and decreases and it's not a steady increase or decrease. So in manufacturing it's very low, in 2015, 2016 it's very high, and then 2017 it's high but still a little less than 2016. Then 2017 it's also high but not as much as 2016, and then finally in 2019 it increases a lot. So in manufacturing has somewhat of a fluctuating data over the years, but you can see construction, it steadily increases. Wholesale, it also increases a lot, even though it's not perfectly symmetrical increase, because 2016 saw a steep rise, whereas 2017 it wasn't a very big rise, but still it was a rise, right? It was an increase. So wholesale steadily increased, retail steadily increased, information and communications also steadily increased, but in 2019 it's decreased a little, decreased slightly, but overall there is an overall increase in each of the 5 categories listed here, in each of the 5 businesses of e-commerce. Alright, so she missed this. So this was a very important thing that she should have brought into attention. And in contrast, she said that there are a lot of variation that varied a lot from each other. Alright, so this is the main problem of this essay, that she didn't look at it holistically, but she took it apart and then analyzed it separately. Okay, but besides that, there are a lot of strong points as well. For example, there are a lot of transition markers. Yes, they could have been better. Instead of say starting with in 2018, in 2017 all the time, she could have brought in a lot more variation to her sentences. But besides that, the vocabulary is good, the paragraphing is good, there is a good introduction, there is a good conclusion. So yes, I feel this is a strong essay, but it could have been much better if she looked at it holistically and not separately, discretely.